Yo, what's good everybody? It's CP the Doc, and today I decided I'm gonna try out MyLeague for the first time in NBA 2K21, and I have a pretty interesting idea for you guys in my first MyLeague video. So most of you guys know I'm a big Atlanta Hawks fan, and I'm a pretty big Dominique Wilkins fan too. You guys know that Dominique is probably the greatest Hawk ever, and for what it's worth, he had a hell of an NBA career. He averaged 30 points per game for the first time in only his 4th year in the NBA. Fast forward 2 years and he averaged over 30 again, and look, I know a player's greatness doesn't come down to only numbers, but these stats that Dominique averaged are pretty crazy. Y'all know he was an amazing dunker, but he was also a great scorer, a solid rebounder, and at the end of the day, he's a Hall of Famer for a reason. So what if I took Dominique Wilkins, prime Dominique Wilkins, and added him to the current Atlanta Hawks? I'm making absolutely no other changes to the roster, except for adding Dominique into the lineup. How good will this team be with Dominique starting on the wing? Trae Young is coming off an amazing season where he started in the All-Star game. John Collins just had the best season of his career where he averaged over 20 and 10. Clint Capela is one of the most underrated centers in the Eastern Conference, and I haven't even mentioned all the young wing players the Hawks have drafted in the last few years. So is this team, with Dominique, good enough to win a championship? If I had to guess, probably not, but you never know. There's only one way to find out, so let's get this sim started, and let's see if Dominique can lead this team back to the playoffs. Before we get this sim started though, you guys drop a like on this video for me if you haven't already. It takes less than 2 seconds and really helps the channel out, and of course, subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this video. Also, you guys let me know if I should play another season or two with Dominique on the current Hawks. Should I add another NBA legend to another current team, such as Bill Russell to the Boston Celtics, or in general, should I make more videos like this one? Let me know what you guys think. Now without any further ado, you guys sit back, relax, and let's get this simulation started. Alright, so before we start this simulation, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I have no idea how this is gonna go. Yes, Dominique Wilkins is great, but the Hawks were the second worst team in the Eastern Conference last year, so I really don't know how much Dominique will help this team. But I guess we'll have a decent idea after we simulate these first 10 games, so let's do it. Alright, first 10 games in the books, and we're off to a surprising 8-2 start. In our first game of the season, Dominique had a huge debut, dropping 37 points and 13 rebounds on some pretty good shooting, and of course, we got the win. He also had a huge 35-point game versus the Heat where he shot an impressive 13 for 16 from the field, and through 10 games, Dominique is averaging 25 points per game, along with 9 rebounds and 5 assists, while shooting an efficient 56% from the field, 38% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. Even when Dominique isn't scoring as much, he's still making contributions in other areas, like in this game versus the Nuggets where he had a double-double with 11 rebounds, and in this game versus the Spurs where he almost had a triple-double. 10 games into the season and we're looking pretty good. Let's see if we can keep it up for another 10 games. Alright, 10 more games down, and we slowed down a little bit after a hot start to the season. Now this was an interesting stretch, because even though we lost to the Phoenix Suns, in our next game versus the Clippers, we destroyed them. Dominique and Trae Young are looking like a dynamic duo too, combining for 77 points. We lost to the Lakers, but Dominique and Trae are still putting up great numbers, and looking through each of these games, it looks like this is beginning to become a trend. Trae and Dominique are playing like all-stars, but the rest of the team needs to step up a bit if we want to compete for a championship. Wow, 50-point game for Trae Young in this win versus the Pacers. Dominique still scored 32 though, and believe it or not, Dominique's points per game increased to 28 in these last 10 games, which is super impressive. He's leading the team in scoring, still shooting very well from the field, and through 20 games, our Hawks are the 5th seed in the East, which honestly isn't that bad. Let's see if we can climb in the standings a little bit with this next group of games. very impressive stretch. We beat the Nets twice, and we got revenge on the Bucks too, and I'm pretty sure those two teams are at the top of the standings. Dominique is still playing like a superstar. 32 points, 10 rebounds versus Golden State, 31 points versus Brooklyn, double-double versus the Jazz, double-double versus the Bucks, and believe it or not, our Hawks are the second seed in the Eastern Conference, only one game back of the Bucks. So even though Dominique's stats are down a little bit, he's still making an impact, doing an awesome job leading this team to one of the top records in the conference. I can't complain about that. Let's start simulating again to the halfway mark of the season. Another solid stretch for the team, and we are now the #1 team in the East. Wow! We have a 1-game lead over the Nets. We gotta look at some of these games. So Dominique scored a season-high 39 points versus the Magic, but then he followed that up with a 44-point game versus the Celtics. His stats are back up to 28 points per game, and the 3-point percentage is nearly 40%, which is super impressive. Trae and Dominique really are a dynamic duo. They combined for 63 points versus the Nuggets, 68 points versus the Wizards, and then they combined for 76 versus the Rockets. That's unbelievable, and that's probably the reason why we're playing so well. Combined for 72 points versus the Suns, 35 points for Dominique versus the Spurs. Yeah, this is pretty good. We're about halfway through the season, so let's simulate until the All-Star break and see where the team's at then. "56 games down, and our record is still looking pretty good. Oh my gosh! 79 combined points for Trae and Dominique versus the Clippers. We really swept the Clippers this season. This was a super dominant stretch for the team too. 22-point win versus the Thunder. Dominique had a great game, of course. 22-point win versus the Wizards. No surprise there either. Look at these blowout wins versus quality teams like the 76ers and the Mavericks. Dominique and Trae are playing like a superstar duo, and we even got revenge on the Celtics. Dominique's playing great, man, doing an awesome job leading this team. Our record is 41-15. We have a 3-game lead over the second seed Celtics, and I don't want to jinx this, but it's looking like we're about to end this season at the top of the East, which is a huge surprise, but a welcome one for sure. Also, Dominique is shooting almost 42% from 3, which is actually a huge surprise because, if I'm not mistaken, his 3-point rating isn't that good. Yeah, it's only a 77, not even average for his position. That's interesting. We'll simulate about 10 more games after the All-Star break, and then we'll move on to the final stretch of the season. Let's check out this game versus the Heat. That superstar duo continues to shine, man. 66 points combined, plus 21 points from John Collins and DeAndre Hunter. John Collins steps up again in this blowout versus the Mavericks. He's beginning to look like our third star. We lost 3 games in a row versus Portland, Memphis, and Washington though, which is kinda concerning, but we are still #1 in the East, and we have an even bigger lead than we did the last time I checked. And for what it's worth, Dominique is still playing like a beast. 41 points is insane, and Trae had his own 40-point game versus the Wizards. Alright, you guys have been waiting for this. Let's close out the regular season strong. Wow, yeah. 60-win season in Dominique's first season back with the team. Sadly, Dominique didn't win league MVP, but Coach Pierce won Coach of the Year, so we'll take that and run with it. 3rd team All-NBA for Dominique Wilkins. I wish he could have gotten first team, but we'll take it. 60-win season, #1 seed in the playoffs. Let's get this playoff run started versus the Heat. Alright, we've taken a commanding 3-0 lead in the series. Let's go into Simcast and see if we can close this series out. We're down by double digits in the fourth quarter. But all of a sudden, we retake the lead. Oh! We gotta jump into this game and see how it ends. Up by 2 in the fourth quarter, Dominique drives off this Capela screen, draws the foul, and goes to the free throw line for a chance to give Atlanta a 2-possession lead. First free throw? Good. Second free throw is also good. Goran Dragic finds Bam for this easy layup, and the Heat are still alive in this one. The Heat only need one stop on defense for a chance to tie or take the lead, but somehow the Heat defense completely breaks down, and Kevin Huerter gets this wide open layup to put the Hawks back up by 4. Dominique plays great defense on Jimmy to force this miss, but Bam gets the rebound, gets fouled, and hits both free throws to bring it back within 2. Big free throws by Bam, but the Heat have no choice but to foul, and they send Jeff Teague to the line, who calmly hits both shots to put the Hawks back up by 4. Tyler Hero gets a look from deep but misses it, and with that miss, this game is pretty much in the books. Jeff Teague goes back to the line to hit 2 more clutch free throws, and before you know it, Jeff Teague is back at the line one more time for another 2 shots, and of course, he hits both. Game over, series over, the Hawks advance to round 2 with a sweep over the Heat. Dominique only had 23 points in the Game 4 victory, but overall he actually had a great first round series, leading the Hawks in scoring in Game 1 with 29 points, dropping a 32-point double-double to lead the Hawks in Game 2, and adding 31 points in a double-digit Game 3 victory. Round 1 is in the books. Let's move on to round 2 versus the Magic, who surprisingly beat the Bucks in the first round. Giannis played like a monster in every single game, but wow, I guess it just wasn't enough. After 7 playoff games, the Hawks' record is 7-0. This team might just be good enough to win it all. Dominique had a huge Game 1 performance to fuel a 36-point blowout win. Another double-double in Game 2 results in another win, and yet another 35-point double-double in Game 3 led the Hawks to a 3-0 series lead over the Magic. It's a back-and-forth game in Game 4 of the series, so let's jump right in again. 1-point lead for the Magic with half a minute remaining. The Hawks are looking for a shot to take the lead but can't find one, and Trae Young forces up a super low percentage shot, and just like that, the Magic are going to the free throw line. Jonathan Isaac hits both free throws, but the game's not over yet. Okay, it's probably over now. But it's no big deal because the Hawks bounce back to win Game 5 in Atlanta and close the Magic out for good. Nothing really unexpected in the conference finals. The Lakers and Clippers are facing off like they were supposed to in real life, and the Hawks and Celtics are going head to head. This is going to be interesting. So the Celtics take a 1-0 series lead with a 3-point win in Game 1. Dominique Wilkins dropped 35 points in Game 1, but it wasn't enough. Will the Hawks bounce back? Another loss, oh my gosh! And another huge game for Dominique, wow. So we lose both games in Atlanta, but the series isn't over just yet. Okay, now it might be over. But look at this! Dominique is having an amazing series, but the Hawks just can't win. Game 4? Okay, we win Game 4. And of course, Dominique drops 41 to keep the series alive. Game 5? The Hawks take control in the final minutes of the fourth quarter and send this series back to Boston for a Game 6. Can the Hawks force a Game 7? Overtime. Game 6. Hawks lead by 2 with less than a minute remaining. Trae pulls up for a 2, misses it, and the Celtics have the ball, shot clock turned off. Jaylen Brown pushes the fast break, finds Gordon Hayward up top, and Hayward hits a huge 3 to put Boston back in front. Atlanta runs a beautiful play next possession for a wide open Kevin Huerter 3, but it's off, and now the Hawks have to play the foul game. Final possession, one final chance to send this game to another overtime, but John Collins misses again, and yes, you guessed it, there's sadly no coming back from this one. The Celtics go on to win the East, and the Lakers go on to win the championship in 6 games, but I can't help but feel like this was a successful first season for Dominique back in Atlanta. Dominique had an awesome regular season where he averaged 27, and he stepped up his game in the playoffs to average 30. He led the Hawks to 60 wins, and hey, you never know. Maybe this team could pull it together and win a championship one day, but that's only if you guys enjoyed this video and want another one. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun to make, so y'all let me know if you want a part 2 or another video like this one, such as the Bill Russell example I mentioned at the beginning of the video, maybe Kareem back on the current Lakers. Anything you guys think of, let me know. If you made it to the end of this video and you aren't subscribed to my channel, come on man, you know you want more videos like this one, so subscribe if you haven't already. You guys stay safe, stay chill, and I'll be seeing y'all again real soon.